Conflict occurs in everyone's life on a daily basis. It is defined as the perceived incompatibility of values, norms, processes, or goals between at least two cultural parties over identity, relational, and substantive issues. It is an inevitable part of intercultural communication. Luckily, theories have been developed to help reduce and understand conflict. Stella Toomey developed the face negotiation theory of conflict in order to explain why some people respond differently to conflict than others. She believes that people strive to maintain a positive image of themselves even during conflict. Face is defined as the public image that someone desires in an interaction, and she describes two types of image needs that individuals seek, especially during conflict. Individuals strive to satisfy positive and negative image needs during conflict. Positive image needs refer to one's need to appear competent and feel included or connected to others. Negative image needs address one's need to feel freedom over our own actions. During conflict, it is normal to show concern with our face as well as the other person's face. In predominantly individualistic cultures such as the United States, most individuals describe themselves as independent. Toomey says independent self-individuals operate from the idea that conflict is perceived as unproductive when no tangible outcome or plan of action is reached or developed. Even when a goal is in mind to resolve conflict, guidelines for proper behavior are kept in mind, known as conflict norms. One of the most prevalent cultures that conflict occurs in are families. Dodd and Baldwin say that families create their own cultures by adopting family norms, rituals, rewards, and communication styles. Each family that you know has its own unique way of life. These ideas are consistent with the key concept from class, which is that we all learn our primary way of handling conflict from the cultures that we grew up in for the longest time. Because of this, our families serve as a precursor to conflict styles in future relationships. Dodd and Baldwin also describe families as systems of interconnected and interdependent individuals. I compare a family as a system to a professional football team because just like on the football field, every action by a family member in an ordinary day affects everyone else in the family. When a family extends past a husband and wife, children become a vital element in families. From birth, children learn from their fu, or what we have all come to know as our family of origin. We can range anywhere from the hero, who is a responsible, rule-following high achiever, to the chief enabler, who is self-righteous, sarcastic, and passive. Our family of origin deeply influences the ways in which we now handle conflict. There are certain elements of a family that help it to become and maintain a functional system. One of the most important elements is family rules. Rules in a family of origin are defined by Dodd and Baldwin as the teachings of obligations and expectations of behaviors, or the do's and don'ts within the family. Examples of family rules include being honest and trustworthy, obeying curfews, and not talking back to parents. Another significant element of a family is communication receptivity. This idea refers to a family's degree of openness to communication and ability to incorporate and apply new information into family member relationships. This element is tested in families when negative information is addressed, but can be countered by simple availability in family members, that is, making time to talk with one another. As previously stated, conflict is inevitable during intercultural communication, and families each make up their own unique cultures. My family is certainly not an exception to these facts and provides an interesting subject of study regarding conflict and families as a system concerned with maintaining positive face. So allow me to provide a little background information on the Thornhill family. I'm an only child, and I don't know if that was the plan all along, but I have a feeling that my parents quickly found out that I was going to be all they could handle. My parents met in law school at Mizzou, and my mom is now a 54-year-old attorney, and my dad is a 53-year-old judge. So needless to say, their jobs provide them with plenty of conflict management practice on a daily basis. It might not look like it, but my mom is the fiery member of our family. Applying Mitchell Hammer's conflict style model, she would be described as direct and expressive when faced with conflicts, especially within our family. She comes from a family of 5 siblings in which she was the oldest, and she uses precise, explicit language and certainly prefers face-to-face direct channels to solve issues. My dad is much quieter than my mom when conflict arises. Hammer's conflict style model describes my dad as indirect and restricted. I believe that being a judge for 20 years has taught him the importance of listening more than speaking. He believes that accommodation is the primary goal of conflict, and resolution comes from the end result of harmony in our family. 21 years ago, I came into the picture. I certainly learned my conflict style from my family of origin because I'm a combination of both of my parents' conflict styles, depending on the situation. I can be directly confrontational and have given some of the best speeches that I still regret. And sometimes I can make myself step back and be accommodating with family harmony in mind as the end goal. As a child, I was obsessed with sports, and my mom made me take piano lessons as well. I remember despising practicing the piano and used to cry and yell and throw fits because that was how I handled conflict. Luckily, my mom did not give in to my fits and had both of our self-images in mind when she used direct and expressive language to teach me the correct way to express and resolve conflict. My dad was my basketball and baseball coach all through elementary and middle school. Anyone that has ever had a parent as a coach knows the conflict that causes. We had to make an agreement that he was my dad at home and my coach during the games. Regardless of how intense the conflict at home, he always helped protect our public self-image and face at practice and games because he believes in seeking harmony and recognized our family as more important in the big picture. Conflict in our family isn't just between my parents and me. As in all families, my mom and dad face conflict as well. After 27 years of marriage, they have figured out how to handle it though. My mom is expressive and direct, and my dad is restricted and indirect, and they make it work. My parents are the epitome of the phrase opposites attract and are a prime example of the importance of communication in a family. My family's conflict management has continued to improve as I've gotten older and gone to college. I consider myself a mixture of the hero and the chief enabler described by Dodd and Baldwin. I'm responsible, follow rules, and seek approval from my family, and I can be sarcastic and self-righteous as well. I certainly feel the need to be connected to my family while feeling freedom over my own actions at the same time. The models and theories presented by Ting Toomey, Hammer, Dodd, and Baldwin provide important insight into intercultural conflict within families. The face negotiation theory helps explain why some people respond differently to conflict than others. The conflict style model is useful in explaining where people are coming from and where they're trying to get to. Looking at families as a system helps us understand how our actions affect our families as a whole. The importance of this presentation applies to all of our families. It is healthy and helpful to recognize that all families face conflict no matter how small or large. Conflict can be overcome and handled in the least damaging way possible when these theories and models are applied to families as their own culture. No one and no family is perfect. It's how you overcome conflicts that create a well-functioning system.